You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth. Now you probably can, so I'm gonna give it to you. What is going on, everybody? My name is Matt, often called Big Nerdy. Together we are the NWO, the Nerd World Order. And this is Nerdzoic. Today we are talking about collecting, and we're gonna do a bit of a collecting Q&A. You guys sent a bunch of questions about my collecting thoughts on things, my collecting habits, so let's talk about it. We start off with the winner of the username contest, which wasn't a contest, but might as well have been. Mayor McCheese says, how do you feel about the price of import figures, namely Mafex and SH Figuarts when compared to the Hasbro offerings? I've talked about this before. I'm not a big SH Figuarts guy because I don't think they scale as well with everything else, but Mafex and Mezco, when it is a character that I think needs soft goods, i.e. Ghost Rider, i.e. Indiana Jones. That's when I say meh to the Hasbro and I pay the extra $100, whatever it is, to go get the Mezco. Now, if it's a character that is definitive, like I want to be able to buy one and done, I don't want to have to buy the new Spider-Man every year, then I might go to Mafex because they're going to be a one and done. Like if I get their Mafex 185 Spider-Man, I'm not going to need to buy any more Spider-Man. Why am I saying no Mezco in this scenario? Because I think Mezco spandex looks weird. Clothing looks good, spandex looks weird. I love to see them do some Star Wars because seeing Jedi in like tunics and robes would look awesome. Now, where's Hasbro worth it? Hasbro's worth it whenever you're doing anybody who is not a gigantic main major character. Like for me personally, if it's not like a top 20 or 30 character, I'm good with the Hasbro. Especially if it's like a secondary version of a character. Like how many versions of Wolverine are there? I missed on it, but I'd love to have the Mafex Tiger Stripe Wolverine. After that though, I'm going with Hasbro because it's not worth paying for the brown Wolverine. The X-Force is another great example. Even though the Mafex is better, I'm not paying for that. Frank Perkins says, thanks for mentioning my site, Action Figure 411. You're welcome. By the way, if you're not on that site, if you don't go there, I literally go there probably daily. Check it out. It is the best action figure resource site there is, and it's free. Frank says, I started to code a tool where you could overlay the price history graphs of several figures to see the value, but not available yet. That'll be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Let me know when you do it, and maybe I'll make like a special video, or maybe we can even get you on here if you want to do like the video together. That'd be pretty cool. Banzo Bob A7V watched my original collection tour and said, hey, cool collection, especially the Star Wars stuff. Where is it now that the basement has become a business? Mostly my garage. I put those shelves above the garage doors and they're all in boxes up there. My wife has decided that once the store is gone from the house, apparently the basement is no longer mine. I don't know how I lost it, but I did. My hope is that I can have like my own personal collection area of stuff that's not for sale at the store or the warehouse when that time comes. GLX3846, is it safe to keep figures in a Ziploc bag for long-term storage? I believe so, as long as it's not exposed to extreme heat or cold. Mike Tizit, that's an interesting name, says, I'm just curious, if toy manufacturers just keep re-releasing old lines, then why collect? You might as well take them out of the package and just play with them. If you miss out on an old line, just wait 20 years and they will re-release them. Case in point, Star Wars, Power Rangers, etc. Doesn't this hurt the value? Yeah, I mean, we're not collecting for an investment. Toys are a terrible investment, man. If you want to collect collectibles for an investment, get in the graded comics. It's more about like just the fun of it. And yes, they're going to re-release it, but it's going to be slightly better. And if you just want to get the definitive version, pay up and get an import. Edwin Folger, 4805. I want to get into collecting, but have no clue when things get released. Is there a site, app, or place where I can get news? So this came from a Transformers video. TF Source has a lot of great Transformers news. Cybertron, I think it's called, is another one. I basically use Toy News SI and their network of sites to get everything, and also HissTank and their network of sites. If you go to their two sites and click the top, they have like a site for each fandom. Check those out and you'll stay on top of everything. Articulated Hero 8611, have you collected any of these new Universal monsters? Collected? No. Seen, opened, played with? Yes. It's one of those things where you gotta draw the line somewhere, and I don't have any strong connection to those from my past, so I didn't buy them for myself, but I think they're pretty cool. KNMan0010, how you gonna have biker mice from Mars with no bikes? Pass. That's gonna hurt later, bro, because the bikes are coming. And they already announced that they have made some major changes to the articulation on these things. I think they're gonna end up being really, really cool, really hot. Don't miss out on them. Once the bikes come, then you're really gonna want them. And according to my conversations with the shell, they're not going to re-release them. So it's going to be a one run and done. We'll see if that happens, but if that's the case, they could go quickly. Lynn Rains, I hope I'm not too late, but Matt, how should I display my Marvel Legends on my shelf? And should I mix in my DC? Man, that is what you call a personal preference question right there. I tend to mess around with it a lot. Like, I don't like having my DC and my Marvel together per se, but sometimes I'll do it for scenes. It really comes down to how you feel. Also, like how much you have. Like if you only have like 3 DC figures and you feel like it doesn't make sense to put them on the shelf by themselves, and sure, maybe go heroes and villains. Maybe go movie versus comic. There's so many different ways to do it. And if you have ways to do it that I'm not thinking of, drop them in the chat for Lynn Rains here. Melving 2564, I have a huge collection. What is the best way to sell them? Best way to sell things is to always go to Facebook marketplaces. If you try to sell the whole collection, go to a local comic store or toy shop, expect to get between 30 to 40% of the value of it on eBay, because those people need to have that money to make a profit so the investment makes sense, and also to pay for their time to put everything up and list it. 30 to 40% is what you can expect if you sell the whole collection together. If you piece it out, the best way to do it, like I said a moment ago, is Facebook groups. Go in and make lots. So for example, if you're selling Star Wars toys, let's say you have 100 of them to sell, plan on selling 20 lots of 4 and set them up in a way that makes it so that you can mix the hot items with the garbage items. So for example, let's say you have a Dr. Aphra, like the original one, but you also have some of the Solo movie figures that you can't sell for anything. The Dr. Movie Aphra alone, I think, sells for about $100. Put all 4 of them together for $100, you'll sell it, and you'll be able to move them out for an average of $25 a piece. Whereas if you try to sell them by themselves, you could probably get 90 to 100 for Aphra and like $3 for the others, if anything. Nobody's gonna want them. So put it in groups. Angel Blue 1527, I didn't realize Dorkside closed until February. Lost my pre-order, that sucks, I'm sorry to hear that. Any recommendations aside Big Bad? I want to support other stores. Nerdzoic!
Brandon.
Christopher Banshee 6060, what makes you continue collecting? I've had periods in my life when I've lost interest and almost stopped, only to be pulled back in by one thing or another. What keeps you in the game? Same thing, bro. You know, there's periods of life where you stop and then you get pulled back in. It could be a new release. It could be a new piece of media that you want to get the figures for. It could just be a wave of nostalgia. It could be like wanting to share something from your past with your kids. There's a lot of different things that pull you back in. For me, the big thing is I find that when I'm collecting toys, even before Nerdzoic, when I'm actively doing it and messing around with them, I'm happier. And it's really almost a conscious thing that I have to make myself do it to be happier. Lucha Blay asks, where are these charts showing the price history of a toy coming from? Mentioned at the beginning of the video, baby. Action Figure 411. The Cobra 305, what is your holy grail when it comes to wrestling figures? Man, that's a tough one. So for me, I really want the entire original Defining Moments run. I have about half of it. As far as the expensive stuff goes, I don't have the Brett and I don't have the expensive Undertaker. I think I have the rest of the expensive stuff. I might not have the Shawn either, but that's kind of my holy grail wrestling thing, at least at the moment. I think that the Hasbros are probably going to be for a lot of people. Like if money was no object, I would love a full carded and loose set of Hasbros. And that's probably what I'm gonna go with. Like there's also like the prototypes, like what is it? The Rhythm and Blues Greg Valentine. A lot of people love that. Well, a lot of people, there's only a couple of them, but for a lot of people, that's their grail. Not really a thing for me, like maybe someday, but for me, it's more about the sets. Cartman 3593, gonna answer this like Cartman now. Is there a franchise that you wanted to collect but ultimately dropped it due to lack of interest or low priority? That was fun. There definitely is. The best example I could think of is Masters of the Universe Origins. I bought the first wave, then I got home and looked at it. I was about to open it and I'm like, why did I buy this? I don't have the funds for this. I don't have the space for this. I cannot start something new, and I ended up just selling it off. So that would probably be the best example. What is your favorite McFarlane Batman action figure of all time? There's a lot of answers to this. Originally, it was the Arkham Batman. I have that one. Now, looking at the pictures, it's probably gonna end up being the Nightfall Batman. GTLM157, will we ever see a return to 6-inch scale DC figures a la Universe Classics? I don't know, man. I really don't. Mattel still holds the license. I'd love to see it. I feel like they were getting better with time, but they didn't really have any touch with it. I don't know what to say with it. Whereas Mafex just seems to knock it out of the park with all the DC stuff, at least to me. Mayor McCheese is back, or is this a different Mayor McCheese? This one's 6451. Is it ever worth paying the aftermarket price of a figure? Rarely. Almost never, in my personal opinion. The only time I think it's worth it is if you are relatively sure they're never going to make the figure again, or they're never going to make it for a while. So an example of one they're never going to make again, we're not going to see another Gina Carano Cara Dune figure. In that case, it's worth it. Ajan Egoyans, okay, what's your least and most favorite figure you own? My favorite figure I own changes by the day. Right now, it might actually be the Marvel Legends Rhino. I freaking love that thing. But I'm going to be opening my Mezco Ghost Rider soon, so that's probably going to change. Least favorite figure I own is actually pretty easy. It's the Phase 1 Iron Man from the Iron Man Tony Stark 2-pack. That thing is freaking garbage. It looks like a little minifigure compared to everything else. I can't wait to get rid of that thing. What about you though? Do you have a least and most liked figure in your collection? If you do, let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to see. Also, again, if you're still watching this and you're not subscribed, what are you thinking? Another also, you gotta get old, but you don't have to grow up. Just be cool and stay nerdy. Later.